Hello everyone, this is Nathan with Canadian Parents for French, and today I'll be taking you through the training module for our virtual volunteer portal. Please make sure to save this link or even bookmark it on your computer so that you can have easy access throughout the program, as CPF volunteers will be using it very frequently. So to start off, on the homepage, we have our social media accounts listed. Please feel free to follow these accounts as we will post updates, events, and even program relevant information for our volunteers throughout the program. If you do not have social media accounts or don't use social media, you can always refer to the homepage program announcements section of the volunteer portal for the same updates, as we keep both of them updated regularly. Scrolling further down, you'll find our proof of hours requests. So after dedicating a minimum of 10 hours of volunteer services with Canadian Parents for French, we can provide a formal letter verifying the number of hours you have completed and a description of the volunteer work you had participated in. So you can go ahead and submit the form after completing 10 hours. And this also includes us signing off on letters or forms for your school and employer, such as community service forms, university course placements, or even teachers' college. CPF can only provide letters of recommendation or act as a reference to volunteers who have successfully completed 40 plus hours of volunteer services. And this policy is to ensure we have spent enough time working with our volunteers to rightfully act as a strong reference on their work ethic and character. So when you are ready to submit your request, please use the link right here that is hyperlinked under complete our form. And please also let us know if there's a deadline in which you need the form returned. We do require at least 5 business days notice and cannot complete requests in a shorter amount of time. Below that is our volunteer training videos and our volunteer handbook. So after your interview, you should have already been sent an email with program-specific training. However, we keep these here, so if ever you need to rewatch some of them or want access to review the volunteer handbook, please feel free to do so. Below that, we have a small map showing where all of our virtual volunteers are joining from. We have virtual French tutors, content creators, and reviewers located all over the world, bringing their vast variety of French skills to our virtual programs. And right below that, you will be able to find our contact information if ever you'd like to send us an email with any questions. So scrolling back up to the top, we'll find the Tutors tab, which has 3 different options. The first one being our Merit Hub information. So this is where you'll go to find your tutoring links, but this will be covered in a separate training module. Below that, we have our tutoring content and our no-show report. So we will start off with the tutoring content. On this page, you will find the content to use each week for your tutoring sessions. The content is organized by week into folders, so please make sure you are selecting the correct or current date before downloading the content presentation. The content is also organized by age, so please make sure you are downloading and using content that matches the age of the child that you have signed up to work with on the Better Impact schedule. If ever you're going through the content and it is too easy or too difficult for the child that you are working with, you may always use content that is for kids 1 year older or 1 year younger. So for example, if you have signed up to tutor a child who is 7 years old, but the content is too difficult for them, you can use a content presentation for a child who is 6 years old. If the content for the 7-year-old is too easy, you may use content for a child that is 8 years old. At the start of the tutoring session, you can gauge the level of French of the child by either asking them questions or playing an icebreaker activity, then modify your choice of content to what you would deem best fitting for the child and your tutoring session. We will upload the content a few days in advance before the start of the week, so that way tutors can prepare for the session and familiarize themselves with the content that they will be teaching. If you are making modifications to the content presentation, please make a copy of it to avoid modifying the original, or you can simply use the presentation as is. Content presentations are designed to last the entire 1-hour tutoring session, so if the child that you are working with is going through the presentation very quickly, please use a content presentation that is 1 year older to make it more difficult for them. Content presentations will have a vast variety of activities that will ensure the tutoring session is both interactive for the tutor and the child. Each presentation will focus on the basics of French, such as reading, writing, listening, and speaking. There is typically a theme to each presentation to make sure it is fun for the child, and the activities will follow the theme of the presentation. There's a 5-minute break in the middle of the presentation for the child to get up and move around, or even grab a snack or some water or use the washroom. And please note that tutoring sessions should not end early. If you finish the content presentation early and have extra time left, you may always ask the child if they have any French homework that they need help with, or you can always play a French game, read a book together, or focus on any activities that the child may need a little bit more help with. You can also head back to the volunteer portal and select a second presentation that you could get started on. And further down, we have a tab right here that is extra resources. So these will be other content presentations or some different icebreaker games and activities that you could use to fill the remaining time of the tutoring session. Scrolling back up to the top, we will now take a look at our no-show report. So if the child you are supposed to work with does not show up for their tutoring session, you are required to fill out this no-show report immediately. We ask that tutors wait 15 minutes on the call for the child to show up. However, after 15 minutes, if they have not arrived, you may end the call and fill out this report immediately after. So after you have filled out this report, you may log any time that you had spent preparing for your tutoring session and reviewing the content presentation. This can be anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes, as well as the additional 15 minutes you had spent waiting on the call. Volunteers will not receive the full hour of volunteering as the student did not show up. As much as we try to avoid this and make sure that all of our students show up for their tutoring sessions, sometimes it is unavoidable. If we get informed in advance that a child will not be attending a tutoring session from the parents, we will always make sure to email the tutor who is supposed to work with them. So please make sure to click here when you are ready to fill out your no-show report. We will ask for your name, the date of the tutoring no-show, the start time of your tutoring session, and then if it was a group tutoring session, you can select yes or no, and then please input the name of the child or children that you were supposed to work with, and then below that you can input any comments or additional information you would like to share with us. Scrolling back to the volunteer portal, that concludes this training module. Thank you all so much.